Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Coffee Catch-Ups. I'm just checking on my phone on Facebook that we have gone live. For those of you that are tuning in, can you please give me a comment, give me a like, to make sure that you can see me. I can see a couple of you kind of coming in there at the moment. And happy Wednesday. What is it now that we're 2 weeks into lockdown? Jeepers. It's fun times we're living in. But hey, it's good to catch up with everybody and have a coffee, a nice midday coffee. And I'm really excited about today's guest because I've said this, pretty much most of the guests that I come on, are great friends, but it's really cool to bring on people that you've known for so long. And Tim, thanks for the lovely comment, my friend. Good to see you. So it's really exciting to bring on, like I said, a friend of mine who has done exceptional things. We've known each other since school. We had mutual school friends and have reconnected again once we've got into the professional life. So I'll bring him in and make sure that you guys can see. Tom, are you there, my friend?
Yeah, mate. Gotcha.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. And it's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I've got my coffee here ready to go.
Good. That's the way to do it. So Tom, we reconnected pretty much after I did my education. Really got into my investing pretty full on, because at the time you were a real estate agent, or I guess you kind of still are a real estate agent, just kind of progress your career a little bit. So do you want to introduce yourself, tell a little bit about who you are, and say hello to the people?
Yeah, sure. Hard to say hello. I can't see anybody, but I can see you. Hello, everyone out there. So Tom Rawson, based in Auckland, real estate agent, or formerly one. I'm still a licensed real estate agent, but I haven't sold a property in 2 years. So many would say that's terrible for a real estate agent to not sell a property in 2 years. But it was by choice. I've progressed out of selling into management. I bought into our business, which is Ray White in South Auckland. So we've got the Manukau office, Manurewa, Mangere and Mangere Bridge. So 4 offices, currently managing about 112 people. So the headaches have changed slightly. I had as much hair as you, Jono, when we met, reconnected 5 years ago, but it's all gone now. So managing an office now. I'm based out of the Manurewa office. We have just bought a building in the town centre, which we're repositioning where we are, which was the building that we took over when we bought the business, and shifting into our own purpose-built space. When I say purpose-built, it's an old bank, so it's the BNZ Bank in South Mall in Manurewa.
Cool.
And we're keeping the vault. So welcome all your Wealth Mentor students to come and keep their money there. We're turning it into a feature meeting room.
Awesome.
So we can take people in there and catch up in the vault and leave the old safes there and stuff like that. Be pretty
That's cool.
But, started out in real estate 7 years ago.
Nice.
I got my license on the 17th of July, which was 2 days after my birthday. I actually walked into the Ray White Manukau office on the 1st of April. So it took me a couple of months to get my license. It was the year of an election, so it's going back the 7 years with the cycles. And I remember door knocking in Otara to get my first listing, and helping Adam, who was a friend of mine in the industry, at one of his open homes in the area. And I got told some unpleasantries as I was walking around the area, trying to do my job. Basically where I could go, which was joining that far queue over there. It was a hard start, but I'm grateful for starting off in Otara and getting to meet so many investors. I had to pivot because door knocking wasn't really working for me, and changed up and met some investors. Me and you, but we reconnected probably 5 or 6 years ago. And we were fortunate to transact together.
Yes, we were.
And we were just chatting before about how being fluid in a deal, whatever the deal is, if it's buying jeans or buying a house, you've got to be easy to buy from and to sell to.
Absolutely.
and I'm experiencing the opposite at the moment, which is cool. But
awesome.
Yeah.
So just in terms of the management of your business, I can speak because one of the other agents that works under for you, someone I've done a lot of deals with, is Hayley McCarthy, amazing agent, and I know how highly she speaks of you as a manager. So that's really cool. What are some of the things that you've taken on board in terms of that shift from going as a self-employed, essentially as an agent, to then managing a number of agents? What are some of the things that you know for you as a manager?
The biggest thing for me was realizing that my client changed overnight. So when I was an agent, my client was the house seller or buyer. So we worked for the vendor. So the seller was our client, and with fiduciary duty to the buyer. Stepping out of that into management, my client is my agents, like Hayley. So I've got to make sure every day my clients are happy, just as I was when I was an agent. And every house seller is different. They've got a different set of circumstances. Deaths, divorce, all the rest of it, shifting for job, relocations, the whole lot was what I experienced as an agent. And management is exactly the same. We've got guys that are happy doing a deal every couple of months. And then we've got guys that are trying to set the world on fire. And basically, there's a different amount of pressure that they need to have applied to them or want applied to them. Some of the team want me to kick them up the butt every day. Others I just check in on every now and then. And so I think it's figuring out everybody's why and how, and also realizing people's businesses operate differently.
Absolutely.
And agents are businesses. And so some will be out there door knocking every day, and others just wait for the phone to ring. Inbound business. So I just
something just to expand on that. And I know one of my team, Kyron, who I've actually got on the show for you guys tomorrow. Kyron is a big part of Wealth Mentor, and his face is always around. He always talks about the fact that as an investor, your job is to find out the story of the vendor. And that's very similar. It's interesting, as you mentioned, the different stories, because as an investor, you want to understand the story to ensure that your offer fits the situation and fluid essentially comes out of the transaction. So we've had an interesting time. We're in lockdown again. Now I'm kept up to date on social media, all the things that you guys are up to, and the cool auction results I'm seeing is pretty impressive. Have you got some stats that you could share with us? Now, Auckland's been in lockdown for 2 weeks. What has actually been happening in terms of property from your side of it, in terms of stats?
So I've been updating the team basically live as it happens. So because we're all remote, we don't have our leaders board or sales boards like we do in our offices. So we've got a team chat. In our team chat that we're communicating to is 112 people. And I'll put in there as soon as I signed a listing. So as the AML officer of our agencies, I sign every listing. So it's been quite good to be able to keep tabs on that. So as of this morning, we had signed 57 listings. As I look at my inbox, I've got another 2 to sign post this. So that'll be 59 listings. We have done 38 deals. So this is all since midnight on that Tuesday where we came into lockdown. So 38 deals. I actually know of 2 more that have been done today, but haven't been processed yet. So we'll be up to 59 deals and 40 deals and 59 listings. We've been doing online auctions. We had 8 last night and we sold 7 out of 8. Disappointed was my reaction at the end of it, because that broke our streak. We had 36 successful auctions in a row, and that included 9 the previous Tuesday and 4 on the Friday, plus the ones leading into lockdown. But still ecstatic nonetheless after I thought about it for a minute that we're able to sell 7 properties in lockdown.
Absolutely. So just jump in there for a minute while we're about halfway through. Guys, if you've got any questions for Tom, this is an opportunity to get from someone who knows quite a bit around from a real estate agent's point of view, but also from a property market or anything that you come in. I'm sure Tim's going to come in with a question. You can have a look at how Tim introduced himself. There you go. I'll throw it across the screen. How nice is that of Tim to say hello in such a friendly manner? Tim's actually a student that I work with towards the end of last year, and he has bought some wicked property. So really good man. So make sure you guys yell out if you've got any questions that you want to ask Tom along the way. So yeah, I mean, the whole lockdown impact has been an interesting time, and having to move to that remote side of things. What is your feeling that we're going to have as we carry on through lockdown, and then the movement out of it in terms of listings, market, things in terms of, and probably, you know, do you think it's going to be different for Auckland compared to the rest of the country, seeing as the rest of the country's moved out of the level 4?
Yeah. I think we're really fortunate this time around that we've got experience. Yes, it's only the one prior time that we've been in a level 4 lockdown, but we all know what happened after that. We came out of lockdown and we were a little bit cautious, but then this massive bull run happened, and that happened everywhere. What I'm sensing now with those that are transacting now is the same. So they think the same is going to happen, and that's why they're buying now. We had 172 registrations across our auctions in the last 2 weeks, and 69% of them haven't even seen the properties. That number will increase because we're bringing new property to the market that's going to be sold without anybody ever seeing it. So people are buying at home. We're seeing property traders, so probably some of your clients actually, registering for auctions as well. Like, they've never been to the property, they're trying to secure a longer settlement and then and let the market ride out and make a profit on resale at the end. So to answer the question, I think Auckland will go great again, and that will cement those OCR changes as soon as they're able to. I think they'll kick in. Outside of Auckland, the split level lockdown's probably helping prices outside of Auckland. Shame for Northland really being lumped in it with us, but I think everywhere outside of Auckland, like, people will want a bolt hole to shoot off to. So whether it's a second dwelling, like I know someone that as soon as it was announced jumped in their car and gapped it. I know it's discouraged, but you know, the motorways were busy as on that Tuesday night, a lot busier than a normal Tuesday. So I think you'll see regions as well as Auckland both take off again, which will be, depending on where you're in the market, happy or sad faces.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, it comes back down to the big fundamental that we talk about all the time is the shortage of property in this country. I had someone, Paul Southey, I was talking about him before we went live, who's one of our mentors, and he's quite high up. He's actually part of the group that gives a bit of advice or to government in terms of property, and some of the stats coming out are quite extraordinary. Things like we're currently 40,000 houses short, and they expect that to grow by 20,000 houses every year for the next 10 years. I mean, this is huge numbers that we're talking about. So really, what we should be seeing is continued growth, based on the crystal ball that I keep over there in my wardrobe. But we should be seeing it based on some of those stats.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a lot of, I suppose, not manipulation, but it's kind of like they're incentivizing different products within the market as well. And so the new build, overseas investors could buy new builds, but not second-hand ones. That was kind of a soft rule they brought in. Then it was first home buyers are kind of incentivized to go for the new build rather than the second-hand one. And so that pushed all the developers to going, hey, we're going to have a massive frenzy at the end, with all our new builds. Let's go and snap up all these second-hand houses and bowl them and rebuild. And so we're going to see a massive amount of new builds come to the market, but the demand for them is far outweighs the supply.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the students that I've been talking to recently in terms of strategies is, look at the opportunity to add dwellings because of the tax benefits as well of being able to move your debts and being more tax efficient. So it's definitely an interesting time that we got coming up. I have actually got a question which I'll throw across the screen for you there from Tim. Tips for the best North Island area that you think will boom next. So what does your crystal ball say on that one?
My crystal ball? I would say that we've got to go still within a reasonable driving distance of Auckland. you've got to look at supply and demand. So most of the supply of buyers will be still based in Auckland for whatever reason, if it's a couple of days or needing to commute for whatever reason. So I think anywhere within driving distance, so south of the Bay of Islands basically is I think, 3 to 4 hours that people were still comfortable with. I think you'll see them there some outside of the main, like Walkworths and Omahas and stuff like that have taken off since the last lockdown. I think you'll see people might go remote, head over probably more towards Kaipara and those areas where there's a bit more land and still good value. So probably everywhere that didn't go gangbusters last time, look in those places. So the Mangalifis, the Omahas, and all of those places that went nuts last time, I'd probably be looking away from them over to like Bailey's Beach on the west coast and those areas.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you for that. In terms of your own goals, you're very successful in your own right, and take my hat off to you for everything that you've achieved. It's what is it that you're looking to achieve, or what are some of the things that you go about in your daily life to ensure that you are achieving or getting to the best that you can be as an individual?
For me, my main things are discipline, routine, and consistency. So in the first 2 weeks of lockdown, I let my alarm clock slip. I think quite a few people may resonate with that. The next 2 weeks and moving forward, it's back to where it was. So win the morning, win the day. For me, I've got to get up, get a good start in. I can clear most of my workload, all the things I need to do by 8 o'clock in the morning, which is good because everything else comes in from my clients post 8 o'clock in the morning. So you get up an hour earlier, beat everyone else. I get up, go for a walk, listening to a book at the moment, and that's what I like to do. It kind of sets me up. I write notes while I'm on my walk, and then execute those when I get back. What I'm looking to do in the future is more of what I've been doing, I suppose. So I can probably touch on what I am doing, but I get a bit of a kick out of watching people grow or helping to grow that. So, plant a seed and water it every now and then and make sure they get enough sunshine themselves. So, that's been a big change for me. Like I used to love getting street records. That was my thing. I was like, street record. Now it's like, I want to see this guy double themselves or triple themselves. That's where I get my kick. Yeah, it's amazing. And I guess I'm in a similar boat, especially with Wealth Mentor and what we do and seeing the kicks that we get out of our students. It's pretty amazing. I think that it's probably got a lot to do with as well. Once you've changed your life, you have the ability to start to change other people's lives, and that certainly is something that very fortunate to be a part of. So in terms of your own investing at the moment, because you're a very astute investor in your own right, what are some of the things that you've moved towards or looking to do in your current investing? I can probably elaborate on what I am doing. So at the moment, I'm building 5 new builds in Mangaree. So I bought a property there last year, and we've taken that house off. We've got it in a storage yard, looking for somewhere to put it. Harder and harder to find, but it's sitting there waiting. Cleared the site, and we're ready to build. We're actually underway, and then lockdown hit. Very reminds me of last year and the year before, where we built 10 houses. We built 10 houses in Papakura. So me and a business partner who was a past client of mine, and then come along and enabled me basically to try and chase some of my goals, which was in this building field. So building 5 there. I've got numerous other projects on the go in terms of different stages for resource consents and building consents, some that are consented and some that are waiting. And it's just I suppose a conveyor belt of capital, like just trying to use capital where I can in each project, and then pull out and then go again. At the moment, I'd say I'm probably stretched. The conveyor belt's pretty stretched because it's been slowed down by material supplies, lockdowns, and the boom that we've experienced over the last 18 months. So I'm at a consolidation stage at the moment in terms of what I can do, but everything I can do, I'm progressing through consents basically. I've got just shy of 30 buildings to go through consent at the moment. So that's
Awesome.
me on the side.
Yeah, wicked. And your long-term goal you mentioned about pulling capital out and being able to move into next. Are you looking at actually holding and refinancing out to then keep going? And that's brilliant.
Yeah. So the 10 that me and my business partner did, which is not my business partner in Ray White. We sold those. The 5 that we're doing now, we have sold those. All the remaining properties we're trying to keep,
awesome.
knowing that, we got a good capital input from selling and making a profit and paying tax and then going again. But long-term wealth for me is having rental properties that are providing me an income.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, that's big on what we're all about as well, is get that passive income coming in, make your money while you sleep, eh?
Yeah, that's the goal. That's got to be the goal, like that's the definition of a rich man, isn't it? Someone that doesn't need to get up to earn a dollar. And so, that's my long-term goal. I've got all my goals written down on my phone, 1, 3, and 5-year goals. I'm 36, so my goals for 40 have had a little bit of a hiding over the last couple of years, I suppose, with these changes to our world. A lot of them are involving travel and stuff like that, and so I haven't been able to achieve those, but I've definitely sped up some of my other ones.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and I think it's very important, as any professional looking to achieve that, you set those goals. I actually set myself some lockdown goals. As we went into lockdown, I set some goals. Part of that was exercise every day, which has meant that I've probably exercised more in the last 2 weeks than I have in the last 2 years.
Nice.
But anyway, I've kept that up, and making sure that I drink 2 liters of water. I went out for a run. Yeah, went out for a run yesterday. All along Maclean's College there, and the wind was just howling straight into me. There's a big frame that I'm trying to push through the wind here. So but I think it's important to always be setting those goals and keep trying to achieve the best you can. In terms of that, and I think this leads in nicely, it's a question I ask all the guests that join me on this show is, for us at Wealth Mentor, we've recently changed our tagline to making wealth accessible to all, because we believe we have an opportunity and a privilege to be able to help people to achieve wealth. But that wealth means so many different things for so many people. For me, wealth is the time with family and being able to choose what I do with my time, and go out and play around a golf if I choose to do that. That's wealth to me. But for you, what does wealth actually mean in terms of Tom Rawson?
Yeah, so I could scroll back and see a goal I had from a while ago, which I'm working towards, which is to be able to walk my children to school every day. And so we bought a house before they were born near the school where we wanted them to go. And so my goal that I'm working towards then, and still working towards, is to be in a position to be able to walk them to school. If our sales meetings on a Tuesday, for example, I can't walk them to school, I'll be able to pick them up. So be able to at least be part of their commute once a day. Longer term goals and bigger goals would be to have a bolt hole myself. So we've talked about that with Tim's question before about commuting within in the North Island region, I suppose. So trying to secure one of those. Having rental properties, like owning rental properties, and having them geared in a way that it's not costing me to own them. At the moment, I'm kind of leveraging up, and it's kind of like Monopoly. You're cruising around the board trying to buy all the assets you can whilst you can, and you're trying to hit go past go without going to jail. And collect that $200. So for me, the last couple of years have been accumulation, and now it's more around paying down debt. And then repositioning the asset value, so taking off that existing house, for example, and putting 5 on and getting the capital for that, keeping the next one, taking that house off, building 6 on that, and trying to keep the whole lot. So that's my longer term. And if I can achieve that, then I would consider. At the moment, I'm comfortable. Like I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, I suppose. Like I'm really happy with my team, all 112 of them in that chat, like I'm comfortable there, like I'm able to add value. So from a personal wealth point of view, it's more around similar to most people, it's the family stuff, like being able to spend time. I'd love to be able to travel, like I had goals around travel, one new destination every year, one destination with my wife and one destination with our family, so 3 trips. That's been scratched. So getting back to travel was my finish line for my, like I used to work in sprints, and some of your team online might appreciate this, but I'd just go hard for 3 months, like just every day of the week, every hour of the day, and then stop for a week and go somewhere, and then go again. And then, so, but without having those finish lines at the moment, it's kind of feels like I'm on a treadmill. We've just, we were meant to be going to Rarotonga in September. We were taking 80 people over from work, and we've booked and paid for the whole lot. Oh. And we're working through that now. So that's a hefty outlay. It was definitely more than what we planned it. We planned that goal 12 months ago. In Rarotonga was a lot cheaper back then. Yeah. Oh, well, it's hopefully we can get our alert level sorted and you can take the trip over there. And my ticket must be in the mail, is it? Yeah. So your desk is still empty at work, mate. I haven't seen you there for a while. Awesome. Well, Tom, it's been awesome to catch up, man. Appreciate all the bits of knowledge that you drop. In terms of people, if they want to find you or find, you've mentioned the Ray Whites, but how can they find you? Just Google Tom Rawson, Ray White, or tom.rawson@raywhite.com. Happy to. Like, I'm always available, and that's what I've always liked about you, Jono. Whenever I've reached out in the past, you always come back to me. You're really responsive. Yeah. And so that's been one of my things as well, is like clear my inbox every day, talk to people that matter, build relationships and keep those relationships like ours, we don't see each other every day or every week or every month, but when we do, it's always a pleasure. So no, thank you. Thanks again for joining us, and hopefully we'll catch up for a coffee in person sometime soon. You're sharp. That sounds like it. Have an awesome day, mate. And most importantly, for everybody out there, make sure that you stay awesome. Catch you later. Bye.